Imagine you have a house which you can call your own. How does that make you feel? Owning your own home makes you feel good as you have a space that is truly yours. Welcome to House and Development Today, the program where we let you in on ways to own your own house. I'm Nomso Thelma, your host as usual. Today we shall bring you details of how to invest in owning a house of your own as we speak to the MD of FMBN and the MD of Family Homes Fund on their home ownership packages. We also have reports on various happenings in the sector from the past week. Let's bring you up to speed with the latest headlines in housing. I'll be back after the news.
The Deputy Director and Head of the Nigeria Housing Finance Program of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Adedeji Adesomoye, has reviewed several interventions by the Apex Financial Institution to increase home ownership in Nigeria. While speaking to Africa Housing News in Abuja, he added that the interventions will be made through regulations, funding, mortgages, policy framework, partnership, and many more initiatives. He held that the bank is currently addressing the country's high level of inflation, which has a direct effect on mortgages. In a bid to boost infrastructural development, the Nigerian Academy of Engineering has called on the federal government and other stakeholders to ensure sufficient inflow of capital into the energy value chain and also to address the limitations of meter asset scheme in the country. The president of the academy, Professor Fola Lasisi, urged the power distribution companies to prioritize processes and initiatives geared towards adding value. Professor Lasisi, who made the call during a public lecture in Lagos, explained that more investment in the sector was required for Nigerians to live a better life. The Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers has blamed the government for continued housing deficit in Nigeria, saying it has no plan to provide housing for majority of the citizens. President of the institution, Roland Abonta, was speaking in Enugu at the National 50th Anniversary Continuing Professional Development Seminar as part of preparations for the Golden Jubilee Anniversary of the institution. According to him, the issue has been made worse as the government does not have basic data of housing requirements in Nigeria. He noted that in a bid to deal with the challenges, the real estate sector has contributed its fair share in providing policy statements and advising the government on what to do. The Lagos Home Ownership Mortgage Scheme, conceived in 2011 by the Babatunde Fashola administration, has failed to reach the full actualization of the scheme due to major impediments such as litigation and poor infrastructure. The scheme, which was introduced to encourage home ownership of first-time buyers through the provision of accessible mortgage finance, faced some issues about ownership of the land used, which later led to court, and not even the efforts of the immediate past governor, Akinwumi Ambode, yielded any benefits as the problem still persists. Subscribers of the scheme in Lagos have expressed dissatisfaction, saying that they have no access to their homes. However, the Lagos State Commissioner for Housing, Moruf Akinderu Fatai, has urged subscribers to be patient as the issues will be resolved shortly. The Senate has reaffirmed its commitment to enacting and amending bills necessary for the development of the Nigeria housing sector. The chairman of the Senate Committee on Housing, Senator Sam Egu, made this known while speaking at the opening ceremony of the Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria's training workshop in Abuja, themed Emerging Trends in Real Estate Development. Senator Egu added that the legislators are prepared to work with all stakeholders in the housing sector by providing legislative support required to move the sector forward.
For details of these stories and more, please visit www.africahousingnews.com. Now for our Owner Home segment this week. Industry sources suggest that due to the country's housing deficit, tenants spend about 60% of their disposable income on rent compared with 30% recommended by the United Nations, and this has created a squeeze on consumers' pockets. To ease the burden, the MD, Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, Ahmed Dangiwa, speaks on how Nigerians can own houses with their rent money. Let's hear him.
Rent to own is Most of these are funded estates. Once you are packaged, you go in paying your rental income, the houses is becoming your own. At the end of the day, there will be a time when you have paid the entire, through your rent, you are able to pay for the house and the house becomes yours. It was launched early this year, very early this year. And so far, if you go to Kaduna State KSDPC estate, which we built in Millennium Estate, the whole of those 263 houses were on rent to own. It was packaged by the Trade Union Congress and Nigeria Labour Congress of Kaduna State, who approached that they want those houses under rent to own. We gave it to them. If you go to Yusra Estate in Katsina, if you go to many states of the Federation where we build estate development, ministerial palo housing schemes, they are under the rent to own. It's a better option than the normal NHF in the sense that in package inside the rent to own, there's an insurance package inside it, whereby insurance usually covers you. In case there is fire in the house, insurance will come and repair your own house. In case there is a demolition of the house due to windstorm or whatever, the insurance will come for it. In case of death, the insurance will pay on behalf of the house. Even if you've started paying for 1 or 2 months and you died, the insurance will pay the entire cost of the houses for you and give you the keys, and then they will pay the FMB and that amount of money. Currently, we have over 20 states that we have constructed houses that are still standing. Those ongoing are the labor project which I've just conceived. If you remember, last year we went around the country launching the collaboration project between Nigeria Labour Congress, Trade Union Congress and NECA, whereby we acquired a plot of land from the state governors free of charge, and then we provide designs and funding. Developers come forward and then we funded it. Currently in the North Central, we are developing those houses in Nasarawa and Koigi. They are fully completed and being packaged. In the Northwest, we have Sokoto and Jigawa. They are constructed, they are being packaged. If you go to Northeast, we have it in Borno and Adamawa. If you go to Southeast, we have it in Abia, and then we have it in Enugu. South, we have it on Ondo and Oshinu. At the same time, we choose Abuja and Lagos to be more central. We have also another site there. We have a total of 14 sites that are about to be commissioned within the couple of 1 or 2 months. And these houses become for the NHF contributors.
The latest couple in town.
Good day, sir.
How are you? Oh, sit down.
Thank you, sir.
Drinks?
No, we're fine, sir.
How was the moon experience?
It was quite an experience.
How about house?
We are renting at the moment, but we intend to save enough to own our own house, right?
Why not avoid all those Shylock landlords and own a house upfront? With the average income and cost of building houses today in Nigeria, mortgage is the best option. No sweat. I tell you what, that was how I got my first house, and I've never regretted it.
To make good homes, and by implication, a good society, an individual is expected to have an abode from which to take off and return at the end of each day. At the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, everyone deserves a home. Come join us at FMBN and let's shelter Nigeria together.
The issue of homeownership in Nigeria, Housing Development caught up with the MD and CEO Family Homes Funds, Femi Adewale, where he highlighted the help to own package and other activities the fund has in place for Nigerians who want to own houses. Take a look.
Help to Own scheme of the Family Homes Fund is what we call our Fund 2. And the objective of the Help to Own is basically to contribute to improving the availability of home financing for people on low income. Currently, one of the challenges for affordable housing in Nigeria is the fact that the long-term financing that's needed for home financing is very few and far between. The objective of the Help to Own scheme is to provide for people on low income, and we define that in our own terms as Nigerians who are earning less than 100,000 naira per month. is that the fund provides them with a concessionary loan for up to 40% of the cost of the house. And on that 40% financial assistance, they have a moratorium for 5 years on interest and principal. That is, they don't pay anything on that loan for the first 5 years. That makes the very early stages of home ownership a lot easier for them. It means that technically they only really have to raise financing for 50% of the homes. We think that will bring a huge number of people into the home ownership market. But it's very early stages. We will keep improving this product. We think that it has significant potential for ensuring that many more Nigerians can afford to live in their own homes. Just about 3 weeks ago, we committed to about 11,300 homes across 4 states in Nigeria. That represents an investment of just over 33 billion naira. That's probably the largest single investment in new housing that has been made for a very long time. Most of those homes will cost below 5 million naira, and they are being targeted at people on low income and public servants. But what is more exciting about that investment is that 3,200 of the homes that we are financing will finally provide a permanent home for people who have been displaced in the northeast as a result of the insurgency. Many of those people with their children and their family have lived in temporary camps for 3 years. As a result of this investment, they will be able to move into a permanent home of theirs where they can begin to rebuild their life and their future. And I think we are absolutely proud about that.
My name is Dorothy Baziwe, and I encourage you all to keep on watching the Housing Development Program. Thank you.
Welcome back. If you just tuned in, the program is Housing Development. Now, taking you through happenings in the past week, the Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria on Thursday held a training as part of continuous professional development program on emerging trends in real estate development in Nigeria. The Chairman, Senate Committee on Housing, Senator Sam Egu, was at the occasion to show support. Housing Development was there.
The Senate has reaffirmed its commitment to enacting and amending bills necessary for the development of the Nigeria housing sector. The chairman of the Senate Committee on Housing, Senator Sam Egu, made this known while speaking at the opening ceremony of the Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria's training workshop in Abuja. The senator, who was speaking on the theme, Emerging Trends in Real Estate Development, said the legislators are prepared to work with all stakeholders in the housing sector by providing legislative support required to move the sector forward.
Real estate developers ought to understand the emerging trend in real estate development globally and how to adapt such trends to suit our peculiar circumstances in Nigeria. A training program of this nature is the way to go. I urge you to look in the direction of the low-income earners to reduce the current overwhelming housing deficit. As legislators, the National Assembly is prepared to work with all stakeholders in the housing sector by providing the legislative support required to move the sector forward.
The president of the Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, Ugochukwu Chime, emphasizes the need for knowledge acquisition and divulges plans to partner with states to reduce fraudulent activities in the sector.
It's interesting and it's very, very mind-boggling that in Nigeria you cannot produce pure water of 100 naira without being registered and regulated. But you can build houses and make claims in newspapers, make claims on TV, people will pay you money into your account, and nobody knows who you are. And that is wrong. And government have kept quiet over this period. But we have stepped up our activities to make sure that we inform them. We'll write to all the agencies. I say these are the people who are registered to practice it this year. And we also write to EFCC. If somebody opens an account and says it's a real estate broker, you need to check. We're even going furthermore to interact with the states so that you don't give land to people who are not developers.
The Special Control Unit Against Money Laundering advises developers to be vigilant while carrying out housing transactions to prevent fraud.
Any person that approaches you to buy a property or to sell or to rent, you must ensure that you have developed a form to extract vital information from that person. Name, occupation, address, telephone number, email, and also go a step further to verify.
Developers say their expectations from this workshop have been met.
Sometimes you want to make decisions about what to build, where to build. The information you require for taking those decisions. Previously, you do them by almost guesswork. But having listened to the presentation from both the people in NMRC, the ones from CBN, it gives you clarity about decision-making process. So the training has been extremely useful for the parts that have been done so far.
One theme stands paramount in this workshop, and that is the need for effective collaboration and synergy with other sectors to curb the challenges faced in the housing sector in order to meet the expectations of Nigerians by providing affordable housing.
The President, Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, Surveyor Ugochukwu Chime, in conjunction with housing industry stakeholders, invite all professionals in the housing industry and the general public to the first Lateef Jakonde annual lecture. Date, 21st November 2019. Time, 11 a.m. Venue, The Haven, AVMC Compound, Oba Akinjobi Way, Ikeja, Lagos. Special guest of honor will be His Excellency Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Executive Governor, Lagos State. Guest speaker, Professor Osita Ogbu, OON, former Minister of National Planning. Chief host, Reverend Surveyor Ugochukwu Chime, President, Redan. Chairman of the occasion is Malam Ibrahim Aliyu, Chairman, Urban Shelter Limited. Chairman Organizing Committee, Prince Sheyi Lufadejo, Chairman, Redan Board of Trustees. For inquiries, please call 081-6657-0090, 080-3650-8189, 080-2340-9308. This message is powered by Fesedet Media Group, leading communication brand in housing.
My name is Tunde Reis. I'm happy to endorse the Housing Development Program. I encourage you to continue to watch the Housing Development Program.
Welcome back. Now, for those who missed the Abuja event, there's a repeat training happening in Lagos today, 20th November, and in Owerri on 22nd November. If you are a real estate developer, this is a program you must not miss. You're still watching Housing Development Program if you just tuned in. The third Nigeria Affordable Housing Finance Innovation Summit and Expo took place on the 13th and 14th of November in Abuja, where stakeholders converged to discuss innovative solutions to housing finance and home ownership. Let's take a look at the report.
The third Nigeria Affordable Housing Finance and Innovation Summit and Expo, held on the 13th to 14th of November in Abuja, with the aim of providing innovative solutions for large-scale delivery of affordable housing in Nigeria. The event with the theme, Innovative Solutions for Large-Scale Delivery of Affordable Housing, and sub-theme, Cooperative and Demand-Driven Approach to Affordable Housing, attracted leading stakeholders in the housing sector from Nigeria and abroad to realize sustainable approaches to housing development. Speaking on the theme, the convener Yemi Adelakun emphasized the need to explore other methods of housing finance to aid housing delivery in the country.
The most critical and most elusive success factor that affects all other success factors identified above is finance. And that will be the major focus of this expo. We need finance to buy the land, the technologies, building materials, infrastructure, and pay the workers and the professionals.
This stakeholder at the conference speaks on the need to scale up the government interventions in the housing sector.
We already have a lot of very useful government intervention in the housing sector, which we need to make them scale up. For example, in construction finance, we have the Family Homes Fund, which is meant to be not just one fund, but a series of funds that can address several different segments of the housing sector. We also have, for the longer term, support to allow people to be able to afford their homes. We've got the Nigeria Mortgage Refinance Company. So the two together, with the right level of funding, with the more affordable funding coming to the institutions themselves, they can also support more affordable housing.
According to the organizers, the objective of NAFIS 2019 is to profile rapid and efficient access to affordable housing by low and middle income earners.
My name is Andrew Chimponda, the Group Chief Executive and Managing Director of Shelter Afrique. I strongly endorse the housing program and housing show, and I think you should keep watching it. Thank you.
Welcome back. Now, going forward on the program today, if you shift your gaze to construction projects in Nigeria, you will see the litany of abandoned projects that fill up the country. There are a lot of such projects in various stages of abandonment. Housing Development Crew paid a visit to one of such in the nation's capital. Gladys Charles reports.
A drive through the streets of Abuja, the nation's capital, will reveal a significant number of abandoned housing projects littering the landscape. Although millions of naira is allocated to housing projects in the country every year, abandonment of these projects still ensue. There are countless uncompleted building projects like houses, schools, hospitals, which have been neglected by the Niger Delta Development Commission and the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing. Report shows that most of these housing projects have been converted to criminal hideouts, illegal shotlets, and even barracks by the police force. This persistent trend galvanized the legislative arm of government to take actions by investigating all abandoned government projects from the year 1999 during the tenure of the former president Olusegun Obasanjo till today. According to the perturbed lawmakers, over 20,000 projects have been awarded in the country, and payments of not less than 50%, which amounts to billions of naira, have been made in advance. Most housing projects frequently abandoned are due to a myriad of problems ranging from litigation, whereby many lawsuits are delayed by the court, the lack of funds, issues of land ownership and titles, poor infrastructure, issues with constructors, and change of government. Here in Saraji District, Apo, in the nation's capital, lies Malaysian Garden Estate, one of the numerous abandoned federal government housing projects in the country. This estate was launched by the former president Olusegun Obasanjo in 2004, but even after 15 years, still hasn't reached completion. Housing Development Crew paid a visit to the estate, but were denied access into the land by the security guard, who also refused to speak about the estate. But from outside where the crew stood, several people were spotted illegally occupying the houses, even in its abandonment. This estate, which holds 14,085 housing units, if completed, will provide housing for thousands of Nigerians, as the housing scheme is set to focus on 65% low-income earners, 25% middle-income earners, and 10% high-income earners. The issue of project failure and abandonment has been left unresolved for a very long time, and this has created obvious room for a multiplier effect on the construction industry as well as the entire economy. It is also a threat to the security of many Nigerians because most of these buildings have become hideouts of criminals or places to conduct criminal activities. With a country like Nigeria challenged with housing deficit and insecurity, it is important for adequate measures to be taken by the government at all levels to address the issue. If the issue of abandoned housing is properly checked, it will go a long way in delivering affordable houses to Nigerians, thereby curtailing housing deficits in the country.
I'm Leilani Farha, the UN Special Rapporteur, and I hope you'll keep watching the Housing Development Program.
Thank you so much for letting me into your homes this week. For want of time, this is where we wrap up for the week. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel at Housing TV Africa to catch up on all you have missed. You can also follow us on Facebook at Housing Development Program and on Twitter at Housing Program. I'll leave you with this quote by Matthew Desmond, which goes, "Housing is absolutely essential to human flourishing. Without stable shelter, it all falls apart." See you same time next week to have a fabulous day.